Concert of the Gestural Controller Seminar, taught by Marcelo Wanley from Music Technology and myself, I'm Sean Ferguson from the Music Composition area. Marcelo has sort of taught. So this seminar is it's an interesting seminar. It has a lot of features that we're trying to encourage, I'd say, in the school, and one of these is the idea of interdisciplinarity and collaboration between artists and the scientists. So the students in the seminar are actually students who are someone might be a doctoral student in piano performance, or it might be a vocal major, or a percussionist, and we have composition students, and we have students in music technology who might be specialized in, say, digital synthesis or in gestural controllers or sensor design, and they've all teamed together into three groups. Each group has focused on a sort of either a controller, a type of controller, or a combination of controllers that are developed, sort of brought to light, completed, and sort of, what would be the word, made into a state where they could be performable, hopefully, this evening. It's a big challenge because people are making things literally from scratch with a soldering gun and starting with making Maximus P patches to make the sound. So what you hear, I'll just, for those of you who haven't been here before, who aren't familiar with the genre, I'll just quickly describe, if you don't mind. It's a seminar in digital musical instruments, and a digital musical instrument is different from a traditional instrument in the sense that the laws of physics don't apply to digital musical instruments. That's to say, in a cello, if you move your finger like this, if you perform this gesture on a cello, the physical reality of the world is such that the frequency of the sound produced will go up, just because that's the way it is. I mean, it can't be any other way but that. In a digital musical instrument, this is not the case. In fact, any gesture can be mapped onto any synthesis parameter to create any kind of sound. And of course, the problem with that is that you can come up with mappings that just don't make sense. They don't make sense musically. They don't make sense to the performer. They don't make sense to the people who are listening to the music. And one of the very important collaborations that happen here is between the performers and instrument designers, in which the instrument designers, who would mainly be music technology students, are able to leverage the expertise of elite performers in being able to say what is wrong with this instrument. There have been many situations where the designers have an idea for something, for instance, and the performers say, well, what would be comfortable to play, or what would feel more musical would be if it did this. And the one thing that's very important about this is that it's something that I must personally believe very strongly in, is that it's performers participating in research not as subjects but as researchers. And very often we have the idea that somehow performers' role in research is to have an electrode stuck to their head or a microphone put above them and they're recorded. But here the performers are equal partners in the research, just as are the composers and the music technology students. Do you have anything you wanted to?
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for taking part in the seminar, but mostly the music tech, of course. I spent nights and nights and nights trying to make these things work, right? And hopefully you'll be lucky and they will work. And again, this is part of a lot of different grants, and so as you can see, so I'd like to thank the Canadian Foundation for Innovation for a lot of resources that actually allowed you to build this with. NSERC, the Natural Science and Engineering Council, and the provincial grants, both engineering and the Digital Orchestra grant, that actually helps some of the people to work on this project. And this Digital Orchestra project, actually by Denis, Sean, me, and other professors, is meant to really build and take these instruments that we did now in 3 months further into 3 years. So that's really see how far can we go with these instruments. Can they become as expressive as traditional instruments? How far can you go with these digital musical instruments, and perhaps become experts and virtuosos of performing with computers? So that's our question.
The other acknowledgement we should make is the Center for Interdisciplinary Research in Music, Media, and Technology, who has funded a number of the research assistants in this grant. And actually, we're proud of something, which is that 2 of the participants in the Digital Orchestra project and of this seminar, Andrew Stewart and Joe Malik, received I'm going to get the exact title of it, the Director's Interdisciplinary Excellence Prize last year from Kermit, and there's money associated with that, so it's not just an honor, it's actually something which helps them pursue their research. And this year, two other members of this seminar and of the research project have received funding next year, have received the same prize for next year. It's Heather Hyman and Mark Marshall. Heather is here, and Mark is way at the back with a drink in his hand, as well as a doctoral student in cello performance, Chloe Dominguez, who has received that prize as well. I think that's...
Oh, and if you want to know more about digital music instruments, buy the book coming out in 2 months.
So we will have the people who... I think every group has assigned one person to describe the instrument before the performance. I'll just ask the people who are going to describe the instrument to talk to the microphone, because we don't have this mic is going directly to the camera, and it's there's no sort of other way to pick up the sound if you don't talk into it. So please do that. So the first piece is study number 1. That implies that there's 24 of them. But study number 1 for T-stick by Aaron Lind, who's a student in composition. It's being played by Xenia Pestova, who's a doctoral student in piano performance. Instrument hardware and software were designed by Joe Malik, Rodolphe Curley. I'm sorry, Rodolphe. Is that right? Wow, that was actually correct. And Andrew Stewart. And who's going to present the piece? Joe, you've been elected. We'd like someone to say something about the instrument first, and then someone to say something about the piece. There's only, as you can see, there's only 4 pieces, so we feel pretty confident we can talk a lot, and it still won't be very late when we're done. Thank you for the
Yeah. That's it.
Thank you. This is not the instrument that they're going to play. They were supposed to play this one, but play it as well as the other one. The idea was that they could do some improvised duets, but the pieces written are actually solos, so it's not that bad that I didn't quite finish this one. Anyway, I brought it along anyway because it looks kind of cool. This is the one that they're going to play. We're not really sure what it's called. It was called the Tiger Stick because you see the stripes, but then I put shrink tubing over it and it doesn't really look like a tiger anymore. But the basic idea is just that there's capacitive sensing on the front of the instrument, so it can tell where you're touching it and also how much of you is touching it, because it's completely multi-touch, the whole surface. So if you could lay your arm on it, it doesn't really matter. You can play with your leg or your head, whatever. On the back, there's there's pressure sensors, 2 of them, and then inside there's accelerometers, which can tell tilt and acceleration, and there's also a contact microphone. I can kind of open it up to see it's kind of complicated. This is why I haven't finished it. Yeah. So this is an important part of the instrument right here. The whole instrument is actually a USB device. Has a microcontroller in it, which takes all the sensor data and formats it correctly, and then just sends all the information over USB. So you just plug it into your computer and it works. That's the idea, anyway. The bigger version also has a spike on the bottom, which is adjustable, so you can kind of play it like a cello or a bass, like with adjustable height, either sitting or standing. Though Ferneto's going to play it, I think, more horizontally, and we'll take the spike out for that.